Welcome to another 2-Minute Tech Review Tuesday. This episode is definitely going to smash the 2-minute mark, so I might relabel this series Tech Review Tuesdays. I think that would be better for everyone. In this episode, we are going to be reviewing one of the most recorded microphones of all time, the Shure SM7b. The Shure SM7b heralds from a lineage of broadcasting microphones developed in the 1960s and 70s. The SM7 was based on the SM5, which had been specifically developed for the film and broadcasting industries in 1966 to combat the problems audio engineers faced with boom microphones on locations and film sets. In 1973, Shure gave their designers unlimited resources to create the best cardioid microphone they could, and in 1976 they released the SM7. A couple of upgrades later in 2001 and we have the SM7b, which has remained the same ever since. This microphone was the powerhouse behind Michael Jackson's 1982 Thriller album, the highest selling album of all time. It sold 110 million copies. These numbers will never be replicated, partly because nobody buys music anymore. More recently, Joe Rogan famously uses the SM7b in his podcast, as you can see in his videos on YouTube. And Spotify have just paid him $100 million for the exclusive rights to that podcast. I reckon 90 million of that is down to this microphone. This microphone has a cardioid polar pattern designed for off-axis rejection, specifically everything behind it. This microphone features a built-in internal air suspension mount designed to minimize noise from stand vibrations. In comparison, the SM57 and the SM58 were optimized to minimize noise in handheld applications. This microphone has its own pop shield and also boasts electromagnetic shielding to help reduce hum from studio monitors and other studio equipment. This microphone has 3 frequency response settings, including flat, which is what I've been using this whole video, bass roll-off, and presence. Let's see how the bass roll-off and the presence sound as well. Now I'm using the bass roll-off, and the low-end frequency attenuation is clearly audible. As you can see from the graph here, the attenuation starts as high as 300 Hz, and at 150 it's about -5 decibels, and by the time it's 80 Hz it's a -10 decibel attenuation. And now we're using presence mode without the low-end attenuation. And now we're back to flat, so you get an idea of how those 3 settings sound. I bought the SM7b because a lot of people recommended it, and now I know why, and I can't recommend it enough. The overriding feature of this microphone that everyone talks about in forums, on blogs, and so on is how smooth this microphone is. And it really is a smooth microphone. It just creates a pleasant, even listening experience. Now, this microphone has been criticized for being a little bit dull, and I'm inclined to agree. Certainly when recording, it's not as bright as a condenser microphone. However, when factoring in compression in the post-processing stage, this will boost the top end back up, and you can always EQ to your taste. To hear how this microphone sounds on vocals against the Shure SM58, the Sennheiser E945, and the Neumann KMS 105, click on the link for this video in the description below. This microphone is infamous for requiring a lot of gain. At the moment, just talking into it now, I'm running at 60 decibels. I could just about get a signal at 50, but 60's giving me a bit more space to move around. And the same would apply for singing as well. Now, when I'm singing, I generally have it at about 50 because I'm projecting a lot more, but for podcasting, you'll want this at about 60. Now, the problem this creates is that a lot of budget audio interfaces only have a gain range of about 55 to 56 decibels, most of them with quite a lot of noise in the top 10% of the preamp. So as you get towards 55 decibels, the noise floor comes up and lots of background noise and circuitry noise is introduced into the signal. To get around this, a lot of people would suggest using a Cloudlifter CL1, or some of the more expensive interfaces like the Focusrite Claret, the Apollo Twin, and so on, also have higher input gain ranges. To find out which audio interfaces can handle this microphone, click on the link in the description below for this video where I compare 10 of the top audio interfaces under $300. I go into more detail about which interfaces work with this microphone, which ones don't. Noticeably, with an input gain range of 66 decibels, the Audient ID14 is particularly good for this microphone. So that is the legendary Shure SM7b. If you're thinking of buying one, I can't recommend one enough. It's a great investment for any studio. I promise you, you will use it all the time. If you've enjoyed this content, please hit subscribe, hit the like button and leave a comment. It really does help the channel grow. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all on the next one.